Was Adam really the first human, or was he simply the first to be chosen, not the first to exist? Could there have been others, people before Adam, outside the Garden of Eden? Genesis doesn't just tell one creation story, it tells two, and they don't fully match. In this video, we'll dive into a theory that may change how you see the Bible forever. Two creation accounts, a hidden discrepancy. The book of Genesis contains not one but two accounts of creation. Most people don't notice the difference, but a close reading reveals something surprising. In Genesis 1, God says, "Let us make mankind in our image." Humanity is created, male and female together, with no names, no garden, no specific location. It's a grand, poetic, almost cosmic declaration. The entire universe is in view. But then comes Genesis 2, and suddenly the story shifts. A man, Adam, is formed from the dust of the ground. A woman, Eve, is created later from his rib. The setting is not the whole earth, but a specific garden, Eden. The tone is intimate, symbolic, and deeply theological. Why the two versions? Were they meant to complement each other, or do they point to different layers of human origin? Could one be about humanity as a whole, and the other about a single chosen man in a sacred covenant with God? What if Genesis 2 is not a replay of Genesis 1, but a narrowing of focus, a zoom into the life of one representative human? Adam's special role, not just the first man. Let's reconsider Adam, not as the first human in history, but as the first priest in a sacred story. In Genesis 2, Adam is not just placed in Eden to relax. The Hebrew words used, avad and shamar, mean to serve and to guard. These aren't ordinary chores. These same words are used later to describe the duties of priests in the temple. So what was Eden? A paradise? Yes. But also a prototype of the temple. And Adam? Not just a man, but a priest, chosen to serve God in this holy sanctuary. He was given a divine vocation to work and keep the garden, ritual language echoing the sacred duties of Israelite priests centuries later. This shifts the story. Adam wasn't merely humanity's first biological specimen. He was God's first covenant partner, chosen to represent humanity in sacred space. Could this mean that Adam was not the first human ever created, but the first human called into a divine relationship set apart for a spiritual mission? Theological Clues and the mystery of Cain's wife. Here's where it gets really interesting. After Adam and Eve are expelled from Eden, their son, Cain, kills Abel. Cain is then cursed and exiled. But wait, he finds a wife and even builds a city. Pause. Where did Cain's wife come from? Who were the people in that city? If Adam, Eve, Cain, and Abel were the only humans on earth, then who were the others? This mystery has puzzled scholars for centuries, but if Genesis 1 refers to the creation of mankind as a whole, and Genesis 2 to the calling of Adam, it opens up a possibility. There were other humans outside the garden. They were not part of Adam's priestly covenant, but they existed. Some theologians call this the Pre-Adamic hypothesis. It doesn't deny Adam's importance. It reframes it. Adam wasn't the first human ever, but the first human in covenant with God. This theory helps make sense of Cain's wife, the city he built, and the presence of others in early Genesis. It suggests a layered human story. Biological humanity first, followed by covenantal humanity through Adam. Science, genetics, and the Adam debate. Modern science surprisingly adds another dimension to this discussion. In genetics, researchers have traced humanity's ancestry to what they call mitochondrial Eve and Y-chromosomal Adam. But here's the twist. These two did not live at the same time. They are not the first humans ever, but simply the most recent common ancestors in matrilineal and patrilineal lines. So science doesn't point to a single pair as the origin of humanity. It points to a larger population. This aligns strangely well with the pre-Adamic view, a broader human race existing before or alongside Adam, who is set apart for theological reasons, not biological ones. Genesis, then, isn't giving us a science textbook. It's offering a spiritual framework, a sacred narrative about identity, vocation, and relationship with God. Adam as covenant head and Christ as the new Adam. The final piece of the puzzle is deeply theological and profoundly Christian. In the New Testament, Adam is described not merely as the first man, but as a federal head, a representative of all humanity. Paul calls Jesus the last Adam, who comes to undo the failure of the first. This makes Adam not just a man in a garden, but a symbol of humanity's calling and fall, and Christ the symbol of humanity's redemption. If we accept that Adam was chosen for a priestly role, then Jesus becomes the perfect fulfillment of that role. Adam guarded Eden and failed. Jesus entered a garden, Gethsemane, and triumphed. In this light, the story of Adam isn't just ancient history. It's a mirror. It's a prophetic pattern. It's about who we are and who we are called to become. What if the real question isn't, was Adam the first human? But what does it mean to be chosen? Maybe Eden wasn't just a place, but a sacred stage. And Adam, not just the first man, but the first called. A priest, a sign, a beginning. Perhaps Genesis 2 doesn't rewrite Genesis 1. It reveals the moment humanity entered covenant with God. Cain's wife, his city, the science of human ancestry, they all hint at something deeper. Not the first human, but the first chosen. And if Adam was the first to fall, then Christ, the last Adam, was the first to rise. And in him, we don't just return to Eden, we step into resurrection. Thanks for watching. If this spoke to you, please like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps us keep sharing truth through faith. God bless you.